there are a couple new features in the gradebook as well. We have an absent column and a tardy column. So as we go through the year, this keeps a running total of absences and tardies for each student. You don't have to look them up separately. You can also, remember, look them up on a daily basis in that multi-day view, but we can have a running tally. It's a little bit easier to keep track. There's also a link to attendance. So up here in the top right, we can hit attendance, and we can go to the single day, multi-day, seating chart, or the start page. So that's just bringing us to our Power Teacher going back. And you also have the shortcut options here, but I'm not going to do that right now. The other thing that I want to remind everybody how to do is set up your class. We have to set up our grade and grade setup, which is up here in the top middle. Grade setup for our first semester. Remember, we are 80% for term 1 and 20% for exam 1. So we have to change this from total points to term weights. We only have this option for semester. So we're doing term weights. Term 1, our weight is going to be 80. And exam 1 is going to be 20. So we're going to hit save. And now we've got that set up. We also want to set up term 1. If you just do total points, then you're fine. You can leave it as is. If you choose to discard any low scores, you can do that option here and save. Personally, I use category weights, so if you want to do that, you are going to be adding categories from categories that are already set up. So if you have categories set up already, you can just go to Add Category and click on all the ones that you're going to use. So I'm going to use daily assignments, graded assignments, tests, and quizzes. They're all three in there. The way I have my class, my daily assignments are worth 5% of their overall grade. Graded assignments, 10%. Tests and quizzes, 85. Now, if you don't have the categories or you're changing your categories, you can easily add more over here in the bottom left. Just hit the plus. And enter your name and abbreviation, choose a color, how many points. You can always change that with each assignment, but if you tend to have a certain number of points for that assignment, you can do that. And if you add extra points possible, change those, and then just add that. Then you will have that as an option to add here. But first it has to be added to the list. Exam 1, for me, I just use total points. There's only one thing going in there, so I leave that as is. Now, instead of going through and doing the same thing for all of your classes, you can go ahead and copy. So we can just copy E1 if we wanted to, or we can copy this entire class. So I'm going to take the entire class that we just set up, and I'm going to copy it to both of my other classes. Now, you may have different setups for different classes, so you may have to do this more than once. So if I was teaching another class like Advanced Algebra, I may have to do one of those and then copy it to my other class. But that's how you set it up. I recommend that you also go ahead and set up your second semester. I've already done that, but do that now so you don't forget when you start second semester. You don't want to have grades all entered and then at the end realize that you didn't have it set up properly, and then when you switch it, all the grades are going to change, especially if you went from total points to category weights. It can really mess with scores. So make sure you get this all set up before you get started putting grades in.